In this presentation, we'll be taking a look at how something simple, mundane, and everyday can lead to something immense. Let's take a look at the simple apple. We'll use our mindfulness to look deeply at how an apple exists, to understand how we are connected to all that is, from seed to universe. In this case, we'll look at an apple farmer and we'll understand his goal, which is to cultivate apple trees and share his apples in a marketplace. Now let's begin our journey. In the beginning, we have the farmer, the land, and some apple seeds. The farmer needs to plant his seeds and help them to germinate. For that, he needs the sun. He also needs the Earth's atmosphere, and specifically the carbon dioxide. He'll need it to rain. Then he'll cultivate around the tree to make sure there's no weeds. He'll also nurture the soil with fertilizers and other nutrients to help the tree grow strong and large. He'll prune the tree to make sure air flows through it and that the branches can support the weight of the apples that will one day exist on them. He'll need to control insects and make sure there's only good insects on his tree. The tree will live from 15 to 100 years, peaking somewhere around 25 to 40 years. And it will take 3 years for the tree to put out its first flowers so that apples can grow. Once the tree is flowering, the farmer will have to hire some trained workers that know how to work with the flowering trees. The farmer still needs the sun and the atmosphere with its carbon dioxide and plenty of rain to be able to deal with the abundance of flowers on the tree. To be able to pollinate the tree so that apples can grow, he'll need to get 2 beehives for every acre of trees he has. Each beehive has 20 to 30,000 bees, and these bees will cross-pollinate his trees. He'll continue to prune while the trees are in flower because, as you can see from the picture, there are lots of flowers on an apple tree, and he can't possibly deal with that many apples. He also continues to cultivate the soil and nurture it with fertilizer and control insects, ensuring that the bees have a clear path to pollinate the trees. Once the flowers have been pollinated and the apples are starting to grow, it'll take 100 to 200 days for those apples to ripen. As the apples are growing, trained workers will work with the trees to ensure that there aren't too many apples on the branches, which could cause the branches to break. The pruning ensures that all of the nutrients in the tree are going to produce the apples that will one day go to market. In the marketing case, there are 1,200 to 2,500 apples per tree. Of course, the tree continues to need the sun, the atmosphere's carbon dioxide, the rain, and the nutrients that the farmer and the workers will put into the soil to help support the tree while it is helping the apples to grow. They'll also need insect control to make sure that no bad insects start to eat the apples. Once the apples are ripe, trained workers will help the farmer hand pick the apples. Many of these trained workers have more than 20 years of experience. They will load the apples onto a loading truck, which will take them to a dry refrigerated storage facility for between 6 and 12 months. The facility will have atmosphere control and a gas that helps the apples maintain their peak ripeness. In the facility, the farmer will have to watch that his apples are not getting eaten by bugs. Eventually, a buyer will come to inspect his apples, and if the buyer wants them, the farmer will use his loading machinery to put the apples into a transport truck, which will take them to the buyer's retail outlet. At the retail outlet, there will be display units that the buyer will use to show off the apples from the beautiful apple farm. People like us will come around and use carts to pick apples off the display units and put them in our carts to go to the clerk who's going to check us out. We'll give the clerk some money and we'll take our bags of apples home to our kitchens so that we can finally eat them. Now consider everything I've told you about. Everything the farmer needs to do to be able to grow an apple for you to eat. How the farmer needs the land and the apple seed and the sun and the atmosphere with its carbon dioxide and the rain and the trained workers. How the tree needs to go through and flower so that fruit can grow, and then all the machinery it takes to deliver that fruit to the marketplace so that you can eat an apple. When we eat an apple, we're actually consuming everything it takes to make the apple available to us. That's the entirety of the universe, our solar system, this earth, the sun, the wind, the rain, the farmer, the apple trees, the flower, the fruit, and all that is. Without all that is, there would be no apple, no existence. So eat your apple slowly, knowing you are eating all that is, including you.